I'd like to have Dean Wadsworth on a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He could talk about all the bucking horses that we'd be referencing anyways.
Yeah.
Super witty, interesting. Do you know Dean?
I don't.
He's a redhead, like Donnie, except a normal height redhead. He's like, he doesn't have
I kind of like, when I'm talking about someone, like, yeah, he's got brown hair. Like Dale. Like, I don't say that. Like, I don't get the redhead thing.
It's kind of like saying sorry for
Exactly,
your loss
Donnie.
20
You
years
don't
later.
get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't get it.
Because that might be because you're redheaded. Dude, redheads are different, man. My first girlfriend was redheaded.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Always had a soft spot
It was in
for
third
redheaded
grade.
girls.
I mean,
I wrote her some love
Tony
letters.
Katane.
She'd moved away,
Oh,
brought them back in 7th grade. Can
Really?
you imagine being in 7th grade and your 3rd grade girlfriend shows up with a love letter you wrote her?
why do women do that?
Because she's redheaded.
That's a lesson to all you men out there, especially young
Yo,
men.
dog.
Don't ever write anything down
Hey,
that you
that's-
mean.
Yo, dog, she was about to do you in, dog.
They will hold on to it.
Yeah.
It'll come back to
Like
haunt
a
you.
dagger.
Yeah.
Like the Mayan sacrifice is what she was going to do to you.
No,
Yeah.
she was sweet, but that was that little one maneuver. And she was trying to be nice. She thought it was cute, quote unquote. But when you're in 7th grade,
It's a little psychotic.
you don't want your boys to think you're cute.
No.
Like I
Oh,
said,
no.
she was about to Mayan sacrifice you.
Yeah.
Rodeo time. Gotta get her on down the road.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rodeo Time, the podcast. Today, look at these arms. Did you see that flex? You can't look at them because you're listening to Rodeo Time, the podcast, with Dale Brisby, Donnie Daytona, Josiah, Chicho, Nation, Zapata. Lastly, Mr. Corey Anderson, the Viking himself, hails from Weatherford, home of Total Feeds. Welcome, Corey. We apologize ahead of time for any inappropriateness, immaturity, and
I'm just glad the AC's on. I'm here to be an energy drink for everybody's ears and let Dale know that I am so glad that air conditioner is on.
Who is he apologizing about inappropriateness? Is that because I'm here? Like you're apologizing to the audience because I'm here.
no, I'm
Is that what this is?
apologizing to you
Oh.
because you just never know what we're going to say on here. What are we talking about today, Cheech?
I feel like so I think let's talk about the 90s. Sports, hip hop, and rodeo, and rock and roll.
Okay.
Yeah. Donnie, this might be a little bit out of your realm.
I was born about halfway through. Almost exactly halfway. July 4th, 1995, I was born.
1995. What was happening in 1995? 95, that was a big year.
Yeah, it was a big year.
I was on a fishing boat in Alaska
Really?
in 1995. That's where I spent most of that year.
Rodeo in 1995 was...
I
I don't think
was
the PBR was even born in 1995, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
yeah, it was
Yeah? Was it 94?
early 90s.
Early 90s.
I was spurring big Bramer necks for big money checks
Tiger
in
stripes.
1995.
Yeah.
Not a lot of tiger stripes. I'm talking just like just
Big humps.
big hump. I was laying hump.
You were
That's what
laying
I was
on.
doing. I was laying hump. Why is that funny to you, Donnie?
There was a lot of
I had
humps.
something in my nose.
There was a lot of humps in Del Rio, Texas in 1990.
Yeah, I heard
in the 90s.
I heard Del Rio was a party in the 90s.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
Mac Altizer.
I never made it to that one. I was always up north.
You were up
then.
north?
Yeah, I was up
Yeah.
north. So I almost caught a plane a couple of times, and I didn't.
Well, Doc, you were a 90s, like, well, I mean,
my dad
Corey,
here?
no, sorry.
You are a doc. Did you get your doctorate?
No, I only have a bachelor's. They call me that for those of you who don't know. I do a little counseling behind the scenes
Yeah.
with pretty much everyone.
He has his psychiatry degree. So is that
You need to sit.
Psychology,
psychology degree?
technically.
And
You need to sit with Dale for a little longer.
It's a project I will never finish. I'm just going to lay that out there right now.
I've always said that maybe it's me that's the one that's messed up, but I'm starting to think that it's everybody else. That's perfectly normal. I'm the one that's...
It's safer to assume that. It's safer for all of you out there to assume that everyone else is wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because then you don't have to do anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't fix everybody else.
Man,
Why are you? Tell us about your jobs, because you went into psychiatry, but now you're a feed salesman of sorts.
Yeah. Marketing director.
Okay, yeah, that's why you deal with me.
Yes.
Yep.
You mean the kind of jobs that I've had? Or how I got from one to the other?
How you got from psychiatry to feed?
It's easy. My dad needed help. And I had never done marketing before, but you would be surprised how easy it is when you have a degree in psychology.
human behaviors.
Yep.
Manipulation.
What?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
You know
Perfect.
what, Donnie?
Manipulation.
Manipulation is not one of those things. Okay, well, kind of. I mean,
You're in
It's
sales.
not a dirty word.
I am in sales. I kind of feel like
Not that sales and marketing are the same thing, because they're not.
that.
but
Well, I can do both. But I have a pretty good knack for selling stuff. I feel like I used to really like to sell anything. Like, I don't care if I could find it and I could sell it to somebody. Like, I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things to do.
yeah.
You
me
know,
too.
I learned when I was young, I was told if you learn to sell, you'll never go hungry.
Yes.
And it has paid my rent many, many times over the years
Yeah.
when,
But
when
something
things
about
didn't work out, you know?
Some people like have it out for salesmen.
Yeah,
I think it's
I don't
certain
know what to say.
salesmen that give the rest of us a bad name.
there is.
How do you, is there such thing as a business that doesn't sell?
I mean, that's true. Yeah,
When you got the
100%.
slick-haired guy, I'm not. You have a rocking haircut, by the way. I know who does your hair. Okay,
Cheech,
I know who does your hair too.
can we stay on one thing?
I am, but what I'm saying is, when you got that slick-haired guy, like the
Used
maybe
car salesman.
the used car salesman or the snake oil salesman, kind of what everybody says, like, and they go about it the wrong way. Like, it's just that guy gave everybody a bad name. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about selling something to somebody that they don't need or they don't want. That's where you get the bad
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Or that's not a proven product. You know, you're just selling crap.
Now, in the case of Dale, who doesn't need a stupid hat or an ugly shirt from Dale's warehouse?
Shirt. I'm only wearing these shirts just because it's marketing. I was told to wear this for marketing reasons.
You think that's funny?
Yeah. I thought
Actually, nobody told you to wear that shirt.
He did, too.
You went
I'm
and put it
telling
on your own accord. I do insist sometimes that people that work for me wear the shirt in videos, because most of the time we don't even. It was like 30 podcasts before we ever did a plug
See that? That's Morse code right there for y'all.
For your brand?
for your brand, for the brand.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that's-
we might talk about it if it came up, but like, but like a hardcore plug, go to dalebrisby.com. Like, if you listen to this, is like podcast 37.
Yeah.
There may be 3 or 4 of them that we've done, and it was at the end, because most of the time the only plug we do is actually wearing the shirt. I love sales, but I hate sales. Like, I loved selling stuff. Like, I think I may have talked about it before, but I went on a field trip when I was in like 5th grade or something. I had like no money. We didn't have money. So, like, of course, on the field trip, you got to buy your own lunch. I didn't even ask my mom and dad for money. Like, they don't have an extra $10 to give me, you know, which at that time, anyways, whatever. I had $2, but I had a bunch of yo-yos I had like collected and put together.
You were that
string,
kid.
and then I had this little bottle that I put oil in. Yo-yo oil. So yo-yos were hot back then.
Yeah.
And so I go to this field trip, and like, we're all, you know, we knew some of the tricks, me and my buddy, who he did have a little money, and he had a nice yo-yo. So we would,
Yeah, what model?
man, I can't remember. It was like a 5-star something.
Oh, yeah.
Something 5-star. Shut up. Anyways, you could do the little triangle thing
Yeah,
where
and
it,
then
and
they
then you
were
could
like,
you
put
could
it in
like
your hand.
you made it
Walk the
sleep.
dog.
Walk the dog.
Shoot
Well,
the
like
moon.
I'd be like, I'm a problem solver. Like,
Shoot
whoa,
the moon.
Your yo-yo
Shoot the
would
moon.
sleep longer, meaning like stay in the spin at the
Oh,
bottom
yeah.
if you oiled it a little bit. Oh, let me get some of that oil. Nah, not for 50 cents, or, you know, come up off 3 quarters.
Golly.
I'll oil that
See,
yo-yo.
I never been.
I came home I bought my own lunch. I came home with $36.
You left with $2.
Scammer.
I'm not bullcrapping. I sold a
And
few
you came home
yo-yos.
with $36.
I sold some string, and I oiled some yo-yos. This is a true story. Like I came home with, and I loved it. And everybody, they wanted. I mean, I've sold them a real thing. Like here's a yo-yo. A kid gave me $4 for a yo-yo.
I would have been what was called a disruption in the market. I would have went with my own money and bought a gallon of canola oil and went up there.
See, but like, no, you can't.
That's the disruption right there.
It wasn't a
human behavior.
big enough
Doesn't
market.
work that way.
It wasn't a big enough market to just oil yo-yos. Like there's only so many yo-yos. They only need so much oil. So like it was like a variety of things that I was a one-stop shop. You could not only buy the yo-yo from me.
Jiffy Lube.
I sold them the yo-yo while it needed oil, so they would come back later to it, which is kind of messed up. I understand now. Oh, is that yo-yo I sold you an hour ago? Come back over here, give me 50
He
cents.
sees
I'll
him
oil it
struggling
for you.
with the tricks after he sold me
Yeah.
an hour later. And
You're gonna
you know what?
You're gonna need some yo-yo.
You're going to need some yo-yo oil.
You know what?
Because
Yeah,
of the
you're gonna
time.
need a new string too.
Yeah.
Anyways,
There's a lot of lessons there, though. There's a lot of lessons there. Because to Cheech's point, no, people don't like salesmen because they don't like to be sold.
Yeah.
But if you're providing something they want, even they might not know it yet. Dale had to make them think they needed it.
And
they think they want it.
and sometimes
That's
you
the
want
difference.
to be sold to.
Yes.
You might go into a yo-yo stop and you don't know anything about yo-yos. You're like, I want the best dang yo-yo you got. Sell me, you know. And those are the. Well, let me walk you over here, and you will be the yo-yo master.
But that's not how you did it. You had those yo-yos and you were going to unload them.
Yep.
But you made those kids believe that they needed a yo-yo
And
because
they
it was
did.
cool. You were
It
setting
was
an
cool.
example. But wasn't it? Weren't they happy about it?
The only
And they
reason I
were.
needed the
Of
yo-yo-
course.
Yeah.
So there's no victim there.
Exactly. Yes.
That's different.
I sold
And-
Capri Suns.
And it's the U.S. of A. If they didn't want a yo-yo, go
Bags of juice.
down and partake in the actual field trip. Like,
Yeah.
stop skipping this session,
Right.
and go. You know, that's what I get so frustrated at people that are like that throw rocks at capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, don't buy the dang shirt.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
People that don't like capitalism, they're like, that really bugs me. It just because you don't want to take the time to go out there and work for something instead, like make yourself something.
Well,
Like
who
you-
doesn't have bills to pay?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've all got to pay the rent.
Don't be mad at me just because I'm selling something. Like,
yeah.
There was a guy that called me to announce the rodeo. His name was, what was his name? You might know him.
Craig.
Craig. Craig is a perfect example of, that guy's a jerk. I honestly believe that.
What does he have to do with sales?
But y'all are talking about who doesn't like capitalism. We all got the rent to pay. He doesn't believe that.
Okay, no. You're the one. So Craig is saying, hey, you come do this. I'll
Craig
give
was
you this much
unreasonable.
money.
He was combative.
All you had to
He
do
was cheap.
was tell Craig no.
I did tell Craig no several times. And
What
he was
you're
still selling.
what you're getting mad
I
at
wasn't
is like
lying.
in your mind you've told Craig yes. You get there, then you're frustrated that you're there working
No.
for too little money. Then you're talking crap about Craig. All you had to do is tell
I'm gonna
Craig
fight
no.
Craig one day. I'm gonna fight him, just cause.
If you don't want to go somewhere, I don't know.
I think the only thing I've ever sold in this life is myself.
That's a pretty good point.
Everyone has to sell themselves.
Yep.
There's the best lesson.
Yeah.
You said you did how many podcasts before you even talked about sales?
30. I mean, out of 36 podcasts, I may have said the words dalebrisby.com on like 6 or 7 of them
8 now.
out of 30.
So my
35.
marketing strategy for Total Feeds wasn't to go out and beat people over the head with pictures of horses and say, buy horse feed, buy horse feed, buy horse feed. I sat my parents down and I said, Dad, I'm going to make you into a brand. And people are
Yeah.
going to listen to you. You're going to give away your expertise for free. They're going to like you. They're going to learn something. And then they're going to want to buy horse feed. And that's how we did it.
Yep. And
Give them value before you ask for. They'll come to you for the sale. Just
Right.
give them value.
That's the only reason
Absolutely.
I still have this job. Because I just I made myself a likable person. And
It wasn't
you
your
became an
face.
asset too. You were an asset.
Yeah.
well,
I don't
thank you,
know.
Cheech.
You're welcome.
I mean, like, obviously,
He's
so
blushing.
So we're cool now for the next.
Yeah, we're cool.
All right, cool.
it's such a double-edged sword. Like, I enjoyed coming home with $36 when I was it's the process. So, like, I've had cows. I've had since I was in high school. At some point every year, I've owned either yearlings or cows, and probably the most excited I've been was last year in the cow industry. Was I bought 7 head of roping calves from Tough. He had been roping on them. They were all heifers, and he was about to take off for the summer, and he was like, hey, you know anybody wants them? So I bought them like exactly what he would have bought them for in the sale barn, but they're smaller calves, and I knew that they'd be straight, and I put them on top of some cows on the cows on Guacamole Camp because there was a little extra grass, and so I put them on top of there. I watched them for a few weeks. 2 of them got real weak, or just they weren't gaining. I was like, those 2 they might die. So I sold those 2, got back, made like very little on them, but made a little bit, kept the other 5 all through the summer, late into the fall, and sold them. And I made like $175 a head if you computed it out. And I couldn't have been more thrilled about those 5 calves that I made that money on. Like, way more than any amount of cows I've ever had and sold. Like, it was just, that process was more fulfilling to me than if I'd have sold 105 head. Like, anyways, I don't know. Because I identified an opportunity, I took advantage of it, I sold them. Now, those are the moments that get you in trouble in the cow industry, because it doesn't always work out like that.
What?
But but nonetheless,
I thought capitalism was all gravy.
yeah. My point is like I just love seeing these little opportunities, a new design, coming up with a new design, seeing it come to fruition. It does good, great. But like, there's also the side of me that like, I can go somewhere, a booth does half of what it did the year before, and I don't care. Like, we got to interact with kids, I don't know. Like, I do enjoy it, but also like for instance with spring of 2020, all that's gone on, like, I just don't lay up at night. Like, obviously things have slowed down for businesses, especially those in an apparel industry. Like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, life goes on. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I mean, like, we enjoy what we do, and it is what it is. And
Well, that's the thing. There's always ups and downs. So if you're not doing something you enjoyed to do anyway, you're in trouble when it goes down.
yes,
Exactly. You're
That's
having
100%.
Yeah,
I'm not
you guys
doing
are
this-
having fun getting up every day doing what you're doing.
yeah, I'm not doing this for the up
Right.
moments.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because, we were doing this when there was no website. Like,
If
that,
you were just in this to cash
That's
out,
how we got
you'd be
started.
in a world of hurt
absolutely,
when things slow down.
100%. I guess that's.
And I also think that business, and this is me, like the business cheech that
The
nobody
business
really-
cheech.
Like, I love it when businesses do come. I love the climate right now because of, obviously things are slowing down, but I like the way when businesses do start in the time of right now, because it's pretty easy right now to start any kind of business.
Absolutely.
Because once the climate does change in this market, whether it goes from bad to worse, or from, most of the time it's going to be from bad, it's going to get better. It just takes time. And I think in that time, well, you said something about the process, taking that process of time. There was one thing in every equation that I think people don't understand, and that's the time that it takes for you to figure out the process. And that process might take a year, and it might take 5 years.
right.
Yep.
And I think that people
You don't start out with the answers.
know. No, you gotta go down. Like if it's bad right now, it's not gonna get any better. It's not
This
gonna get any
process
better. You can't force it.
started, like what landed us right here. The first time we started any of this was 2010.
Yeah.
So a decade.
And a
to
lot
get-
of people are afraid to get started because they don't want to fail because they don't have all the answers. And I'm like, you can't have all the answers.
Yeah.
We
You,
still
you
don't.
never have all the answers.
If I'd waited till we had all the answers, we would have not started
you'd never
even
You
10
have
years
to
later.
adjust every day. It's not like, and this is my 5-year plan, and if you stick to that plan, guess what? You're going to wind up where you started if you do not adjust. I honestly feel that way. I think when I started announcing rodeos, I started with high school rodeos, junior rodeos, bull ridings came along, like standalone bull ridings, and I figured
So
out,
why
well,
you didn't go work for Craig?
number one, we'll get back to that here in just a second. Let me give you this. Let me spit some
Don't call his
of
bluff.
this. Carl's a jerk, and I'm gonna find him. And I'm gonna
Craig.
fight him. Craig. Anyway, I knew that I had to work those rodeos to, number one, to polish, to get better, to work out processes, to be able to work out 8 things mentally in your head and convey information at the same time. And so, and going to different places in different arenas and learning.
Yep.
And it took a long time. Craig's deal is he's just cheap and he's just dumb and dirty.
Craig is like we love what we do, but that doesn't mean you're going to go work for free for Craig
Well,
at this point in your career.
At a certain point, like
I'm gonna fight him.
at a certain point, you become like
You become,
not better
you know your
than,
worth.
but yeah.
You know your worth.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like in the yo-yo business, you got to know your worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
How much is oil worth in the yo-yo business?
So we talk a lot about rodeoing, obviously.
bro, don't flex while you're on the podcast. Like, I feel like you're trying to flex on me.
Is there a mirror behind you, Cheech? What is he looking at that he's
I
flexing
don't know.
like?
I'm looking at the
He's
camera.
Looking
Hey.
at me.
Look at that, baby. You don't even have glasses on.
I know.
So we talk a lot about rodeoing. We talk a lot about guys getting started, how to get started, and then there's rodeo cowboys listening. I guess this could apply to a lot of different industries and people, but you are a brand in the industry, Total Feeds. So tell us, somebody's phone is interfering. Yeah, yours.
Mine.
Tell us, like, as a brand, you have
Available all the
people
time.
come to you a lot, I'm sure. And how do you make decisions on who you accept as an endorsee?
I have to see, and this is true whether it's an individual or an event or a TV show. I have to have an idea for how many eyeballs I'm going to get, and positive ones. They have to, they have to match my message, first of all. If it's an individual and they come to me and they've never tried my feed, I really don't have much to say to them because in case of you and Val and Chris, all the big names, you guys all tried the feed first. You believed in the product first.
Right.
So, and there are people that come with their hands out and like, well, I'm thinking about doing some rodeo. Wonder if you'd sponsor me. I'm like, you need a few more steps there before I'm ready to talk to you. Yeah, I need to bring something to my table. I'm giving you money that I have to earn back. I have to get that back in feed sales. So that's what I look at. I'm like, well, what's the impact when I give you this many dollars? How do you give me that much feedback? Feed, animal feed,
Right.
not feedback.
Yeah.
Like feed that animals eat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Not
Yeah.
feedback as in, like, your hair is
Yes.
stupid.
Right. Not negative feedback. So, like, right now, I'm on my way. I stopped here because I'm on my way up to, and this is an opportunity thing. Cheyenne Frontier Days. What, 120 some years it's been going? They canceled
Yeah.
for the first time.
123, I think.
One of the people I sponsor went to the committee and said, "You guys aren't using the dirt. How about I put on my own event there?" They weren't opposed to it. They just didn't want, the people that run Cheyenne Frontier Days didn't want the liability. So they've got a 5-day roping, a 4-day sorting, a 2-day barrel race that I'm going up there for. And
To the left, one
I
to the right.
sponsor every one of them. And I can tell you now, there are going to be plenty of eyeballs because people have nothing better to do.
Mhm.
These are the same people that put on the ranch sorting in Fort Worth. It was the first event to go on in
I remember
Will
that.
Rogers.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, we were there.
6,400 teams. The events on both ends of them canceled. They had 6,400 teams. I live streamed that, and I couldn't believe that it was my best
I
year.
couldn't either.
It was the
because-
first time in Will Rogers since all this stuff came up.
I think it was the biggest event in Texas horse event since the American Rodeo.
Mhm.
Like
Gotcha.
3 months.
Just in these last few months. Okay.
And they just had the nerve to do it, and they did everything they were supposed to, and nobody got sick. But people are so hungry for that. I know this event is going to be big,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but that's what those are the kind of people I work for. That work for me that I sponsor. Is they have that attitude that they're forward thinking, they're positive, and
Yep.
that works with my brand, that works with my message. I've had people over the years that just were there for a paycheck, and we've weeded them out. First
Yeah.
of all, they're dishonest about it.
Right.
I had somebody, I'm not going to name drop, actually tell my dad, and he said, your product is the only one I don't have to lie about. I'm like, you shouldn't say that ever.
Yeah.
I don't care if
Who
it's
in
my
their
product.
right mind would even? I mean,
Thank you, Cheech. Exactly.
I'm just saying. Anyway,
I don't want somebody like that on my team.
and
Right.
that's good because it's a hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do when you start weeding out people that are there for the check, because I feel that when you bring enough value to a not just to a brand, but when a brand and their product brings value to you, it's almost you should be bringing more value to them than you are to your own self.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be a competition. That's
Yeah.
everything in life.
Well, Donnie's point, and somebody as young as Donnie telling me that he sells himself, well, then I know he gets it,
Yeah.
because we all are.
Yeah.
right.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I am up at those events. I'm selling myself to the general public. And, you can't, we've talked about this, you can't be above your customers ever. So until COVID hit, I go to all these weekend shows, horse shows, shake hands with people, listen to their stories. But I'm also up with the other sponsorees, with Cinch and Wrangler and Prefer and all those people. And I have to sell myself to them because we work events together, we sponsor the same people, and so we share information, we share value with each other, because this, the rodeo industry is more of a family business than any other business I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
I you know what? Earlier today, before you showed up, I was actually on the phone, as doing brand repping for Rodeo Time. It's still the same thing. I don't care if the iron is hot. I don't care if you've got something that they still want it. They want to know what you're still going to bring to the table. And I don't care if whether it's feed, whether it's apparel, whether it's, horses. I don't care. It's still, you got to pick up that phone and not just, they want to buy from you because, number one, they have a relationship. Number two, they know that
Absolutely.
you're going to make everything right with your product.
Absolutely.
Number one, they want to buy it from you because they know, in your case, because they know it's going to sell.
Yes, but there still has to be that guy
Yeah.
or that gal that picks the phone up and says, "Hey, this is Cheech with Rodeo Time.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
want to talk to you guys about possibly."
Yeah, customer service is important. Yeah. So, circling back, whenever somebody approaches you, they need to,
Yep.
one, already be a fan of the product,
Yeah.
like wear it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to go after rock and roll denim, you don't walk in wearing not rock and roll denims.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be obvious.
And so
It really
number
should.
two, the second thing is what? Prove to you how they're going to sell more feed for you than what you're giving them.
Bring me your audience.
Yeah.
Who show me who believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether you're a competitor or you're an event.
Yeah.
Show me who believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
and show me that you care about those people, well, then I'd be happy to work with you, to pay you, put my brand on you, because I know you have people that mean something to you. My customers mean a lot to me. You know, that's the kind of business we run.
Right. Yeah, I think I've heard people say that, like, you have to win, like, in competition to get a sponsor, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like
Not for
JB, his shoulder is messed up. Like, he didn't even compete this spring.
Right.
He's absolutely now he has won, and that has helped him, but him winning has brought attention to him, and people are watching him.
Yep.
And so
And he's not above that.
that's why he can now not even compete and be an asset, because he has people's attention. So
I've had people come to me that they don't have any audience. Nobody knows who they are. And I really, there's not much I can do with that.
right.
I also have people that are known, but for some reason, they feel they're above their fan base.
Well,
they're better than them. I
Yeah.
can't do that either.
Yeah.
I think in the rodeo business, as an announcer, and I'm going to go out there, because I've never said this, so this is kind of like I'm going out on a limb.
It's big stuff.
I think that when
Hopefully it's a
I'm
big
there
limb.
if I'm at a rodeo, I'm gonna fight Craig. I'm gonna fight him today.
Hey, calm down.
What I'm saying is, when I'm there at a rodeo, I'm not there. I don't want to ride their checkbook into the ground. I want to have a home. I want to have a rodeo to do for the next 20 or 30 years versus the next 3 or 4 years. And they're like, man, is this a good rodeo? And you're like, no, there's a few things that we need to figure out before you start charging. For instance, they want to charge more at the gate. You need to work on your product a little bit more before we start charging for you to come in, for people,
Add value.
Know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Add some value. It doesn't have to cost a lot either, necessarily.
No.
You just got to think about it.
Yep. Yeah, that's all it is a value exchange. I mean, at the end of the day, total fee, it's like, you guys are a business. You got to keep the doors open.
Yeah,
that's right.
You got to
Not a
sell
charity.
feed. It's not a charity.
You know
can't
what,
just-
Corey? And I don't mean. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You know who doesn't bring any value to me?
Who?
Craig.
Craig brings zero value. That's the.
That's
other
because you
reason.
won't let
Sorry,
him.
I was pitching you a softball.
Yeah.
You won't,
I know.
You won't let him bring you value because you won't accept his offer. I'm trying to build this on. I don't know
Hey,
how much you
that's
can
enough,
squat,
Craig.
Cheech. We're gonna put this on your shoulders. Did you listen to that?
No,
I don't. Mean
You
to
haven't
bring it up.
listened
He
to-
doesn't
I
bring
missed
me-
that. Sorry.
I
Craig
prank-
doesn't bring me any value.
I prank phone called Cheech, and he fell for it hook, line, and
No,
sinker.
I didn't.
14-minute phone call of Craig.
That's my blood.
Was it Craig Johnson, Donnie?
Yeah.
No.
Craig Johnson. I'm putting on a. Oh my gosh. I'm starting a new association, the Cowboys Rodeo Association of the Panhandle.
If you keep doing that right now,
The
I'm about to,
CRAP. That's no crap. Don't mess with my microphone, Cheech. The CRAP. I wanted Cheech to be my announcer. Stop it, Cheech. Don't touch the
I'm
microphone.
trying not to laugh, Cheech, I swear.
Anyways,
I'm
Don,
trying
you're
not
the
to
one
laugh.
keeps bringing it up.
I'm just saying that we're talking about bringing value. Craig brings zero value.
You keep bringing it up, so I needed
Anyway.
to tell him. I offered him
the best thing that's happened today-
$250 to come announce my rodeo. I told him I'd get him a
Say
plate of
something.
nachos. He'd have to buy his own hotel
I'm
room
gonna fight you.
and be just come try it one night. Be a
Try it.
one night stand with Craig. I wanted him to put some sweat equity into it,
Anyway,
and he said,
Craig grew up in
Craig,
the '90s.
he said, Craig, I don't have another job. This is all I do. I got to get paid. I said, well, why don't you get another job? And
That's
that's the turning point. He got pissed. Oh,
There was this guy in history, several decades
Sorry.
ago. There was a guy in history that
I'm sweating.
there was a guy named Stalin and another guy named Hitler that he was trying to just
force
me to do
people.
something.
Force people. Craig
Yeah.
wasn't trying to force anybody. He put out a sales pitch.
$250
It was
is $250.
It was the opportunity of a lifetime
You're
for him.
going
to-
that way anyways.
Yeah,
He was going to get in on the ground floor.
that's what Donnie thinks.
on the ground floor.
You were going to get in on the ground floor of the
You know the
CRAP.
best. You know why I am not on top of Craig right now, choking him right now, is because that AC is running. Just saying. Anyway,
Oh,
not to take anything away from Dale or this podcast, that I'm here to be, like I said, an energy drink for everybody's ears. Even yours, Donnie. That's a great yawn.
I need to.
this is a teaching moment.
Donnie's off of caffeine. Why are you off of caffeine, Donnie?
Why?
I was having chest pains. I was
Oh.
taking way too much.
I think my head would explode if I gave up caffeine.
Dude.
I'm stuck.
Dude,
Did you run around
I'm
the house
stuck.
like the Ultimate Warrior?
No, I was taking 3 Sparks and a pre-workout a day.
Oh.
Yeah.
the Sparks, I think they got 120 milligrams, and then I'm sure that pre-workout's got like
I don't know how much it has.
250. Got to
What?
milligrams of caffeine. I mean, it's a pre-workout. It's like it's supposed to
Dude,
jack.
it makes you
makes
fly.
your skin tingle.
There
You
is
know
a
what?
toxicity level of caffeine.
So
I'm just putting that out
360.
there.
Let's just say 200. 360 plus
Try
200.
to say south of 400
Yeah,
milligrams a day.
I'm definitely gonna start
Dude, I
back
could
up,
take
but I
that.
just
that
needed
was
a week.
borderline 600.
I just need a week off for sure.
Dale one time Dale got me all hyped up one time
I'm 2 Sparks a day.
on some Spark and pre-workout one time when I came over here. And I
didn't put you on both.
you got me gassed up.
No, I gave you
I
a
was lot-
Spark.
I got a lot of energy anyway.
Yeah,
No
no
way.
crap.
Yeah.
We know.
The hardest part is getting on bucking horses without some kind of like wake me up. So I ordered some smelling salts.
Some smelling salts.
Yeah.
Did they work?
So there's
I haven't used them yet.
there's your rodeo tip. You cannot wake up on a bucking horse.
Yeah, well,
Apparently.
yeah.
He's been on 19 now. He's getting frustrated. He's losing his stirrups. He's getting really frustrated on number 19, and it's look at that guy's mark out on that.
Yeah, I've been looking at that this whole time.
That's a mark out.
He's got some hooks on too, though.
Look at him east and west. See his toes.
So
I
Look
know-
at that judge. Look at the pants on that judge.
Yeah, that judge has got some cake.
On the left.
This guy?
Yeah.
Dude,
he's got some cake.
that's the first thing people comment
Is
on
it
when they see
corduroy?
that poster. He's got
So-
some tight pants on, don't he?
I would
What year,
venture
what
to.
year was that? That's the 70s.
Dude,
pants.
it's got to be the same.
Yes.
Oh,
Look
God,
at
yes.
the halter with
Where do you
the-
think this hair comes from?
Yeah.
I grew up in the 70s.
You think that guy may?
I would say that's before 70s, wouldn't you?
I think it's the 70s.
Do you remember Chuck Norris when he had the high action kicking jeans where they had like the Chuck Norris?
They had a
in the
panel
crotch?
in the crotch
Yeah.
so he could get extra reach with his
With his
his
kick.
feet.
They had
I
a
think he
what
was-
in the crotch?
There was a panel in the crotch so he could virtually
They
do
were
the
spandex.
splits. He sold these things.
They
Oh,
were
wow.
for real pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a pair?
I wanted some just so I could ninja kick. For real.
I didn't get you any.
Well, they don't make them anymore. Stupid.
Mm.
I mean, this was the 70s. Lone Wolf McQuade.
Oh,
Missing in
He-
action.
he fought Bruce Lee on screen.
What does Bruce Lee say you have to be like? How do you adjust?
Be like water.
Like water.
Like water. Can flow,
Were you
but it
alive
can
in this?
crash.
How old are you? You weren't born in the 70s.
No. I'm an 85 model. I'm going to let y'all
Okay.
do the math.
Yeah.
But I think the 90s.
35 years.
Yeah. 35.
No,
Same
I
a-
just, I
same
just
age
turned
as
50,
my-
so
my
I saw
sister.
almost every day of the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, February 12th, 1970.
You're
That's
a heck-
the same age as Dell's sister. She just had a birthday. We were teaching her to pick up yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, she was picking up, and she was riding Boone.
Seems like your dad could have done that a while back.
Teach her
They're
to pick
just
up.
just now teaching. She's just now learning.
To pick up?
Yes.
That's not like a common thing for people to just learn. I mean, like, yeah, I guess he
In your
could've-
house?
He did have her in the arena a few times. Yes, but
It was hot enough yesterday. I think I broke a sweat starting my truck.
It was hot yesterday.
It's Africa hot. That's what I call it.
I didn't feel like it was that hot yesterday.
It
Africa hot.
Mm-mm.
Since summer started, it's been Africa
It's
hot.
gonna be Africa hot in August. It ain't Africa hot yet.
That's why I'm going to Wyoming.
Sorry about you.
I've had enough. I've had enough, Texas. I'm sick of it.
What else are you excited about? What's on the horizon that y'all are doing right now? You're going up to Cheyenne, but
Oh, you got some projects coming up. You know, we got a Rural America Live. We do 7 of those a year, and now that we do the taping in Fort Worth, we've invited people in. We had Craig sit in. We had Chris Cox, Brett Beach, and Charmaine James are going to come sit in.
it's called what?
Rural America Live.
Oh.
Nobody under 55 is going to know because it's on the Cowboy Channel.
Yep.
This is what old people do. It's
I
called
did not
television.
know. No offense,
Old
Cowboy
people
Channel.
do. What do old people do?
They watch television.
Is this
through
like
cable boxes?
so? Is this daytime TV for Cowboy Channel?
No, it's evening.
Is it? Gotcha.
Did you ever steal cable?
Hmm.
Did y'all ever steal cable?
No.
You
we
know
didn't
what?
have it. We
Cheech,
didn't
I
have
have
TV.
I have the worst. I have the most guilty conscience. I've never even like grabbed a pack of gum like in a grocery store. Or
Really?
something.
What's the
I would lose
closest
sleep
thing-
for a week.
What's the closest thing you've done to grabbing a pack of gum that you did lose sleep about?
A pumpkin.
You stole a pumpkin.
Really?
It's after it's after Halloween. They were out in the parking lot, and my friend and I wanted to roll pumpkins out of the back of his '76 Grand Sierra down this road that we frequented at 100 miles an hour. That was the closest I ever got. I let him steal the pumpkin without turning him in.
I stole a few road signs.
You
That
did?
doesn't surprise me.
I'm not saying
I
that's the
can't
only
do
thing
it.
I've lost sleep about, but as far as thievery,
I don't know if it's my mother or, the Bible. I don't know what it was, but something in my childhood made me horrified. I just can't. I'm so guilty. I feel so guilty. Can't
Yeah.
do it.
I don't know. I haven't. I'm gonna skip mine. I'm gonna skip my turn on this one.
well, you
I'm
didn't. We weren't even going to ask you,
Okay,
so
like
don't
good,
worry
'cause
about
I was
it.
already nervous. I don't want to.
Donnie,
Some of them might be still outstanding.
Man, I never stolen anything from like a store.
you stolen a few girls' hearts.
No,
No.
I'm not even do that. I'm kind of a sweetheart.
Definitely not.
Stolen a few guys' hearts.
No, definitely not. I
Wow.
stole a bottle of booze from my neighbor. Had this little like house on stilts down by the creek, but it was like I don't know, like his vacation home. So I was sneaking around down there one day, and I had a handle of Jose Cuervo in there. I stole it.
Is
I was
That's
like,
crazy because your dad owns a bar.
Yeah, but
and
I
you
was
could
like,
just
Yeah.
get it.
I was like 13 at the time.
Uh,
Oh, I needed it at a young age.
Well, I
Trying to
just-
help you
I
go to
didn't-
sleep, like take a
No,
nap.
I was like, oh, we got this now.
is anything a crime if it involves drinking? I don't think so.
I think if you're 13,
If you're 13 and you're stealing booze,
If I
you're probably going to wind up on the Maury Povich show.
So,
if I had $1 for every person that started a story with, well, I'd had a couple beers and
Yeah. As Anthony Lucia would say, I found some water with alcohol in it. I'm like,
I never stolen anything like from a store.
yeah. I stole a baseball on accident once.
I
We were in
stole-
a Walmart at like 3 a.m. and I was playing with it, and we were like halfway home, and I was like, oh crap, I still had this baseball in my hand.
okay,
I stole a sucker one time.
I'm going to come clean. So now that y'all told on yourselves.
Oh, no.
So we used to go through this store in San Angelo. It's called Winn-Dixie, and they would have cookies out there, and their cookies were 50 cents. And you could take them and eat them in the store. Well, one time I went in there, and I kind of forgot to pay for them while I had already ate them in the store. And my mom, being the great mother that she
I
is,
forgot. I just
I
forgot.
forgot. She got me up from my room, got me out into the car, drove me to Winn-Dixie, and made me go in there with my own dang money.
Yeah.
With my own money.
How did she
Yep.
know? Did you tell her?
Yeah. She said, what happened to those 2 cookies that you were going to get? Like, what happened? Where did they... I was like, oh, I'll put them back. So I lied,
Oh,
and then I stole.
Yeah.
So then, anyway, we had to drive back across town. She drove me back across town, walked me into the stupid store.
Yeah.
Like I had stole like $1,000. Like it was almost like robbing. She told me, this is like robbing a store. You know that? This is just like robbing. You're a robber.
Yeah, you are.
And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I don't even care. It's 2 cookies. Like, anyway, from that day forward,
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Did you learn your
didn't
lesson,
give a
Cheech?
heck. You know, I was a little bit rebellious when I was a younger kid, but
I can't see that.
I did pay them every cent that they were ever owed, and I never went into that stupid Winn-Dixie and got cookies from there ever again, because I felt like when I walked in, all eyes were on me.
I got in big trouble for lying when I was a kid.
And I didn't.
Oh, that's
I only,
yeah. That's a
I only
bad
lied
one.
once or twice, but I got caught, and I was like, never did it again.
the one lie I told, I confessed to, and I didn't get in trouble, but
That's what's wrong.
it was
with
like
you.
I was coming home from hunting one night.
Yeah.
We got to do. I didn't drink, and anyways, all we really ever did was go out hunting, and that's what we would. So it was like it might have. I remember it being a weeknight, and I'm coming home, and it was maybe 11, and we'd been hunting hogs, and I was trying to get the shells out of this bolt action 243, and the little magnet or whatever that grabs the shell and pulls it out, like, stopped working, because
Sounds cheap.
I ran through that sucker 3 or 4 times, trying to and just making sure. So then I dry fired it, and I had it pointed down. I thought, like, I'm sitting, the door of the truck is open, and I thought it was pointed at the dirt, and I'll go to dry fire, and it was not dry, and
Apparently.
yeah, it was very wet, and it freaking went off and scared the crap out of me. Obviously,
They come flying out of your hands.
my mom and dad run out, and they're like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Possum," and I missed it. My dad goes back inside. He's like, "Okay," and then my mom comes out there. She's like, "It wasn't a possum, was it?" And I was like, "No." I went off on accident. She was like, "Well, I'm not going to tell your dad, but you can." So, the next day, I had to take a trailer load of stock to the sale barn in Amarillo. And so I go to Amarillo and unload, pull around, park the truck and trailer in the back to go into the cafe and eat. And come back out, and my key won't work. And I see on the truck door, like, I'm looking at the outside of the truck, and it looked like something had hit it from the other side. There was like 10 dents coming from inside going out. And finally I get a locksmith, get the door open, and there where the seam was, there was 2 pieces of plastic that came together and made a seam on the door. That bullet went right in between the 2 pieces of plastic, so you couldn't tell there was a bullet hole. It hit the wiring harness that held the locks, and the bullet fragmented into 10 pieces and hit that door. So like, I shot this door point blank with a 243, and it didn't go all the way through. But it broke that. Anyways, it messed up the wiring. I couldn't lock, rolled down the windows, all the above. And anyways, that didn't have anything to do with the fact that I had been haunted by this lie to my old man.
Yeah,
who
it
was
wasn't about the gun.
this angel of a man. And finally, I just went into his office. He was just bawling. Yeah, I was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I'd betrayed, like, this one."
My
And
mom did have me humming.
And
like
he was
that one
like,
time.
"It's all right. It's all right, man." I think he was just more weirded out that I was crying. I was like,
What the hell's wrong with you?
"Yeah, I hear you, little pussy." No, he didn't say that, but he was like, "It's fine. It's not a big deal." And he may have even known. I don't know, but that was the only time I've lied to my old man.
Dale broke up mom and dad. Dale broke up mom and dad.
This is your fault.
That is one of my all-time favorite movies. Speaking of all-time favorites, just really quick, like out of this area, the people that aren't riding, who are your favorite, like, maybe bands, wrestler, and rodeo? Like, who are your, like, rodeo cowboys? Like, your favorites. Like, there's 3, like, a band, a wrestler.
Roddy Piper.
Okay.
The biggest mouth that I remember from back in the 70s, what I feel was the golden age of
Yeah.
professional wrestling.
That's good.
The bands can't be together right now either.
Yeah, I mean, whoever.
Well, as far as, like, rodeo cowboys, got to go with Billy E.
Yeah.
And then wrestlers, I'm just going to go with one that I can remember. That was Booker T.
Oh, yeah.
Had the flaming pants. And then bands, whether they're current, the 2 that I've been listening to the most of, rap would be NF, country would be Shane Smith and the Saints.
Those are
There's
pretty
others,
solid.
Flatland Cavalry. I've been on a Flatland kick, but that's what my
Those are
playlist
goodies.
consists
Those are
of.
goodies. Tony.
That's a weird list that you wanted there, but that's
is.
what mine is.
Yeah, it is. How do you put that all together?
That's how my
in your
brain
head?
works, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
Man, all-time favorite, like probably listen to absolutely the most in my lifetime is AC/DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angus Young gets it.
Brian Johnson though, I'm not a big Bon Scott fan. Like
Yeah, Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be coming out with another world. He's going to go out on world tour with
I think his
AC/DC.
vocal cords are all messed up. I think Axl Rose has been singing with him
Yeah.
now.
His-
But
The gentleman, Axl Rose,
The gentleman, Axl Rose, yeah. I have been
who
known
pushed
to
his
throw-
own grand piano into his pool.
I have been told I will throw a fit like Axl before. I have been told that.
favorite wrestler, I don't know, maybe Shawn Michaels.
That's pretty good one.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I'm probably gonna have to go with like Rusty Wright. Like I don't know, he was one of the first guys that I really started paying attention to. Like really kind of
Yeah.
got me interested in riding broncs.
Rusty Wright.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, I saw that deal on like all them guys that
The Wright brothers on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Yeti did.
yeah, and I was like, infatuated. I don't know. I was just like,
Infatuated.
is that a good word to use?
That's
Yeah,
an okay
sure.
word.
Like I was like, man, I just want to ride broncs. Like that looks like him and Cody and Ryder and all them guys. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
Cool.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
dude. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
He
You
was
should
like
have said that.
Yeah.
he was kind of a, I don't want to say a pioneer because he wasn't necessarily new, but
He drove the beer truck.
man, he
No,
was
but he
just-
was-
Stadium
He was
and
like the most
sprint.
believable wrestler.
He was
too.
different.
Like he
Yeah.
had a good backstory. Like
Yeah.
it was just like just kind of a normal guy, but
You
I
talk
guess-
about branding. I mean,
But
he
still,
really made
Vince
himself.
McMahon understood
For sure.
that,
Yeah,
I
he
think
made himself a
the
brand.
most branded would obviously be The Rock.
yeah.
Yeah,
He really sold himself.
He took it to it. He sold himself.
But
he
you know,
took
The
it to
Rock,
another
he did
level.
say in an interview, he said, I went in there knowing that for 7 years, Vince McMahon, not per se owned me, but I gave myself to Vince McMahon for 7 years, and the day that it was over,
Stop.
shook his hand, and he shook his hand and said, my contract's up, and he said, you're free to do whatever you want to do. Like, paid him, and, you know, he was like, but you know that in a couple years, you're going to have to come back. And what had happened was really funny because it was recently in an interview that he said that Vince McMahon had, you know, when he came back out of his retirement, he said that it was all about branding again because they had rebranded from WWF to WWE, and The Rock went back and I thought that it was really, 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 really cool. And the reason that I asked those three was because we're talking about behaviors earlier. You can almost tell, no, I wouldn't say everything, but you can get a pretty good idea of somebody's, like, their persona of, like, some of their favorite things, you know, like looking at their music, looking at, you know, things that they like and what they're into.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to ask those three because, like, it's hard to tell a lot about me by my favorite wrestler since I never really watched wrestling.
You should have.
So,
I
mean,
you were
maybe
over there
by
looking-
my
shooting at
music.
make believe possums.
yeah.
Yeah. I
you
don't
lied
think I could
about.
have picked Stone Cold because he was a little before my time when I started paying attention to
I
wrestling.
think Ric Flair was pretty funny.
Like Shawn Michaels was on his way out when I really kind of started paying attention to wrestling.
I
And he was
think,
the older guy.
Ric Flair believed in himself.
Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh,
You okay?
don't worry, I'm going to edit that. I'll edit that down for y'all.
It's a Ric Flair, man. You can't
Yeah.
edit that down.
I spend more money on spilled liquor.
This is why we've got headphones for everyone coming, so they'll know the damage they're doing. Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage was a good one. I liked his whole attitude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He would just go off on you.
dude, why are you so like you love wrestling?
Why? You know why? Because when I guess growing up on a ranch, I only really got a few channels, but when it rained or it was kind of crappy weather, my grandmother watched wrestling. My grandmama, Frances, she's passed now, but I was a single child for a long
Sorry
time,
for
and
your
that's
loss.
why I am the way I am. So
Sorry for your loss.
I'm being serious.
She didn't mean it, Grandma. He didn't mean it.
I don't think he was joking.
Yeah, I know.
I think he was.
Y'all had the same color hair, to be honest. My
Donnie,
grandmother had red hair.
that is a sick thing to say to somebody in his state of mind,
Well, I was being serious.
You're a sick person, Donnie Daytona.
which makes it worse.
My grandma
Somehow.
died 22 years ago. Sorry for the loss.
The level of sarcasm, the pain.
Yeah, don't act like you weren't being sarcastic. That's like the only
You're a
language you speak.
jerk, Donnie.
What are you
I'm gonna.
talking about?
Can I have a handwritten letter now of apology?
Yes.
Donnie, I can see it in your face right now. You're thinking, why did I say that?
Dude, I was being serious.
Do you work for Craig?
No, I don't. I hate
Well,
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Give us your life advice, Cheech.
As I always say, just be patient. Keep working. Harder than you did yesterday. That's pretty good advice. And if
What you
see-
got, Corey?
So, try to understand who you are. I tell everyone this. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you should be doing, and you're going to swim upstream the rest of your life. Don't
Yeah.
fight it. Even if you don't think who you are and what you can do is valuable, don't fight it because it can be valuable.
One of my most rewarding points in my rodeo career has been quitting riding bareback horses. I just started it midstream.
So Dale says be a quitter.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hoppers, and I hated anything that wasn't just a downright hopper. And I got to where I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy getting on eliminators. And so I guess that would be like, if you can't enjoy the eliminators in life, in whatever you're doing, you got to do something else.
There's no point in pushing it
All
Yeah.
right, I gotta
if you're
get
not
outta
feeling
here.
it. He's got nothing.
He was saying he doesn't enjoy it.
Oh, I see. I thought he meant he didn't
Sorry
have any
for your
advice.
loss.
There's
Yes.
no.
I've never been more liberated than when I stopped riding bareback horses. But, yeah. I entered Longview one year and got on Shady Lady of Andrews, hopper, super hopper, and felt like a bareback rider. And then the next year I was like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to draw another hopper. And I drew Cool Water,
Ooh,
not a hopper.
man, were you wrong about
Not a
that
hopper.
decision, weren't you?
Like Cool Water's like, I don't know, ask any NFR bareback rider, but like Cool Water's like one of the top 5 most eliminating eliminators that there's been in the last decade. And
Kind of
he
a sleeper.
eliminated me.
Do you think that it would be
Because
possible?
I called somebody, I think it was Jake Brown. I was like, what's this horse Cool Water? He just started laughing. I was like, dang it.
I think in
The
maybe
horse has got your number.
possibly in
Ja-
the next
Jacob slapped him out, said, I thought you were going to die. It's like, I did too. That's why I'm done. I got on like 2 more.
thought you were gonna die. I want to maybe in the next week or two possibly sit down and maybe have do a podcast over ranked bucking horses. Like
Well,
just
we need like Jacobs or
Yeah, I probably have
Yeah.
to sit that one out.
Sterling
why?
because they're experts.
No, I'm talking about he said he'd have to sit that one out
I
because
don't know much about him.
We could get other bronc riders. Those are just the 2 we know the best.
yeah, I think
I'd like to have Dean Wadsworth on a podcast.
Oh yeah,
He could talk about all the bucking horses that we'd be referencing anyways.
yeah.
Super witty, interesting. Do you know Dean?
I don't.
He's a redhead like Donnie, except
does-
a normal height redhead. He's
Yeah.
like, he doesn't have
How
the,
come, like, when I'm talking about someone, like, yeah, he's got brown hair, like Dale. Like, I don't say that. Like, I don't get the redhead.
It's kind of like saying sorry for
Exactly,
your loss
Donnie.
20
You
years
don't get
later.
it.
yeah, exactly.
Just don't get it.
Because that might be because you're redheaded. Dude, redheads are different, man. My first girlfriend was redheaded.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Always had a soft spot
It was in
for
3rd
redheaded
grade.
girls.
I
Always.
mean,
I wrote her some love
Tony
letters.
Katane.
She'd moved away,
Oh,
brought them back in 7th grade. Can
Really?
you imagine being in 7th grade and your 3rd grade girlfriend shows up with a love letter you wrote her?
why do women do that?
Because she's redheaded.
That's a lesson to all you men out there, especially you young
Yo,
men.
dog.
Don't ever write
She-
anything down
Hey,
that you
that's-
mean.
Yo, dog, she was about to do you in, dog.
They will hold on to it.
Yeah.
It'll come back to
like
haunt
a
you.
dagger.
Yeah.
Like the Mayan sacrifice is what she was going to do to you.
No,
Yeah.
she was sweet, but that was that little one maneuver. And she was trying to be nice. She thought it was cute, quote unquote. But when you're in 7th grade,
It's a little psychotic.
you don't want your boys to think you're cute.
No.
Like I
Oh,
said,
no.
she was about to Mayan sacrifice you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The heart,
Yeah.
it's coming out.
Donnie,
and it's going
what's-
to roll down the steps.
What's your advice? And everyone out there listening and not watching, know that this is coming from a redhead.
Dye your hair red.
No, don't do that. Do the opposite of that. I don't know. If you ain't first, you're last. I don't know.
I just thought of this one this morning, but wash your hands and say your prayers because germs and Jesus are everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Timely advice.
I just made that up.
I say every Sunday they'll make your mama.
I'm pretty
Jesus
sure that's on a
happy,
T-shirt somewhere already.
Leroy says it every podcast.
That's
Yeah,
his
no,
go-to.
I hate saying the same ones every time. I feel
Yeah.
like repetitive.
Cool.
Not that I,
That's it. That's what we're going out on that.
what?
I hate to say the same thing every time.
You're just
Don, I'm going to say it for Donnie.
We,
Hey.
Donnie's
we
gonna
pass
say,
you the ball and you fumble.
If
in
you
my
could give
opinion.
us advice
at the 1 yard line.
Oh, sell yourself.
based on our experience noodling,
Nah.
what'd you learn about noodling that could be good life advice?
His advice would be don't confuse that with canoodling,
Yeah.
which is what he did when you invited him.
I would say, based on my experience noodling, that offense is safer than defense. When you go after something, you're less likely to get hurt than
Yeah,
if you
predator.
like go
If you're
into
gonna
it.
make a mistake at 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
My football coach always
That's
said
what.
that.
That's what.
Are you serious?
That's what
Yeah.
Nick was
If you
saying
go mess up full speed.
when he ran after that
I
bucket
don't think
you
horse.
have
he
to
was
run.
saying that.
He was
I'm
doing
not
it.
sure
Yeah,
that
he
always
was
works
doing
It
out.
doesn't work. On the football
I don't
field,
think
it
he
was
knew that.
good advice, but
Nick was
Not
saying
live.
that with his actions.
That's,
Yes.
That sounds like a broken collarbone.
I wonder if
that
the
advice.
podcasts are following our two conversations we have going on right now.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry for that,
Sorry,
everyone.
podcast audience.
Thank
I'm
you for
ADD.
thank you for listening to this episode of Rodeo Time, the podcast. Hey, before we close out, I know I've said this twice now. Should we rename this?
Yes.
What did we say? The Old Sun Scoop?
The total feeds. What? I thought that's where we're going with this.
Welcome to Rodeo Time 96.3. Go
We were-
ahead and rename it
Because
Del Brisby.
the vlog is named Rodeo Time. And then we started just ranching, which
Mm-hmm.
is like ranching tips, and then we started just rodeoing, which is rodeo tips. And so we thought the podcast
Tips.
should be named something different, like Old Sun or something. Because when we post them, it's also called Rodeo Time,
Like KRAP.
CRAP. So
CRAP.
we're thinking the Old Sun something, but we needed an S word that stood, that had like a
Scoop.
the scoop or like, kind of like how they have rump chat,
The
like a
T.
chat or talk or scoop, or we need a word after Old Sun. But we wanted it to start with S. That way it was like had the alliteration.
Sun.
Shit.
Leave it in the comments below. Let's get some suggestions.
Well, on the podcast you can't leave comments. You can tweet us
Tweet it.
or
DM it.
Insta us.
This is going to haunt me all the way to Cheyenne.
I think.
Think about it. Let me know.
Yeah, I got about 13 hours
I-
alone in the truck.
I love the Old Sun. Like that was like one of our day one designs, and that's like anyway.
Pow Pow Radio. That's the best I've got right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one would be good.
that is good. You hadn't thought of that?
What about Old Sun Radio?
There you go.
I like Pow Pow better.
Pow Pow Radio. Welcome to Pow Pow
I like
Radio.
Pow Pow
with-
better. 'cause it's
You can
Cheech's idea.
comment on the YouTube version of this.
Yeah. I got nothing. I'm out.
Redhead Radio.
Well, thanks for listening to Old Sun Radio, and we're on to the next one.